Okay, I hope that actually works. I have no idea if the intro actually played sound or not because it wasn't playing through OBS, so maybe it was playing through the stream? I don't actually know. So that's
it looked
that's
like
fun.
it was.
Okay, good. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to One Pixel. I am drinking coffee out of my Superman mug. I don't think anyone else is enjoying a beverage, but you guys should be because, you know, coffee's delicious. Anyway, I have my awesome host, Xeru and Tarelther. You guys are pretty much like, I don't know, like... Can we be like the Three Stooges of Gigantic? Does
I'm okay with this.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So
who's Larry, Moe, or Curly? Who's gonna be who?
That's a good question. I'll be Moe because I like the name. How about that?
I guess I'll be Larry then.
There you go.
That makes me Curly. All right.
Oh.
Wow. All right, wrecked.
Yeah, well, we're 30 seconds into the show, and it's already just sucking. That is okay. Big shout out to GG Unleashed for allowing us to host this brand new show on their channel. What is One Pixel? Well, that's a good question. It is going to be a show about competitive, gigantic, hashtag eSports, hashtag One Pixel. If you guys want to tweet at us during the show, use the hashtag One Pixel, and we'll be able to give you guys some answers and some interaction there. Or you can just hit us up in the chat as well. Make sure to follow us over on at GG_Unleashed. I got that wrong on the Reddit post, and Voxel pointed that out. I was like, oh, that's not right. Thank you. All of our Twitters are on the lower left hand of your screen. Follow us there, each individually or all at once. That is fine. Let's kind of go over our backgrounds in competitive gaming. Xeru. Well, why don't we start with you, sir?
Xeru.
It's Xeru.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Cool.
Xeru. Don't worry about it. I am the range sustained damage for another team, commonly known as Art. I play with Voxel and Falco, and Jolt Energy and Schmoogle are the team currently. I started out doing competitive with a small team called Not Orange Juice, and that team didn't really stick together. So
it
when
did
it fell
not.
apart, yeah,
Definitely
Voxel
not.
approached me and said, "Do you want to come be a part of something and work on making a real competitive team that will go the distance?" And that's when another team was formed, and I've stuck with them ever since.
Okay.
I've been playing for about a year, so it was about the right time.
So I guess my question to you is, what was your interest in competitive gigantic and why?
I think it's just an interest in being competitive. I've played sports my entire life. I really enjoy being competitive. I played a lot of League, like too much League. You can ask my parents, they'll be like, yeah, his grades sort of fell off a cliff because of League. And then I found Gigantic, and the community was different. The game was different. It was something I had never really experienced before, and it clicked with me. This was the game that I said, all right, I could play this for 18 hours a day without having any problems, because it's different, and I'm one of the founding members for it, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Wow, you can't even use the excuse your grades went up because, you know, you'd still play it 18 hours a day. So, you know, you got to find something else for the parents now.
I mean, the grades have not fallen, if that helps at all.
Yay!
There you go.
Standard minimum grades. Yes!
Yeah. These get degrees.
That's actually very true. Tarelther, what is your background in competitive gaming, sir?
Well, my background in competitive gaming, well, you might see the poster behind me, Rip Dawngate. I casted the tournament Best Shaper World with my buddy Garwar. We did that for almost a year until EA pulled the money out from under the rug of us, and we were like, Bible thump.
Yeah. Now, you and me have been shoutcasting together for a long time. We started off in Dawngate together. If I remember right, I think we tried Smite a little bit, but you were just more interested in Dawngate. And then we found, you know, obviously Gigantic. So what's been your pull into this game other than the beautiful and lovely, sexy Tim?
Well, Tim's most of it. Let's just be completely honest here. Tim, you sexy beast.
It's true. Okay, that's it?
Okay, no,
That's the only reason he went back to Gigantic was because Tim went to it.
Hey, no. A lot of the Dawngate community went there.
Yep.
Went over there with Thor and Bazeleel and started playing the game. And it's a nice community. Particularly, there's fewer. Well, I was gonna have to say there's fewer jerks in the community. Well, we can't really rage at each other in game because there's no chat at the moment. That probably helps.
It definitely helps. I
For
can
now,
play
at
that.
least. For now, at least.
But other than that, most of my competitive background is actually in strategy games.
Okay.
Actually, my Magic Heroes. Do a little bit of Age of Wonders, but I was never really good at that. Civ oh god, I couldn't handle Civ.
What about StarCraft? Did you ever try your hand at StarCraft?
Not really.
Okay.
I never really cared for much of Blizzard stuff, to be completely honest. I mean, I played Heroes of the Storm a little bit and
Fair
played
enough.
Hearthstone a little, but
I think I was the StarCraft player. I played it for about a year. I played it for about a year. I got to high gold, low plat. I think was my highest, and I only ever got there for one season.
Woo!
So I wasn't fantastic. No. That is win your 5 promos against Scrubs,
I know.
and it auto places you, and then say screw it. I'm just gonna say I've made it to where I want to go. I have no reason to play anymore. So. That's sort of what happened.
Oh man, StarCraft was just one of those games that I played competitively in Brood War, but StarCraft 2 was just like, I don't like the way the game feels. Like it felt, I don't know, almost too easy, I guess. Like because like your workers started harvesting for you. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like this weird transition from one game to another, and I don't know. But my background is I played competitive Quake and Unreal Tournament, a little bit of Tribes in there as well. Tried to break into the StarCraft scene a little bit, just really didn't have the time, and gosh damn Koreans, man, they're just so good at that game. That's really kind of my competitive background in terms of that, and my focus has been mainly shoutcasting. I did StarCraft 2, Dota 2, Guild Wars, and now Gigantic. So that's me.
Hang on, Paz.
Yes.
We have something important we have to address right now.
Oh no.
Xeru, you just now followed the GG Unleashed stream.
I actually haven't seen any of Bull Rush. I see it after it comes out, and then someone posts it on Reddit, and then I watch it there. So just ignore that. We're gonna report this. We're gonna time out Wisebot so it can't say that I said that. We're just not gonna see that anymore.
Oy vey. All right. Well, the topics we're going to talk about this week, and it's going to be why would Gigantic work as an esport? Why would esports work on Gigantic? How do we establish a scene? And we're going to talk about the meta. Hopefully, that will be maybe the main crux of the actual discussion, depending on where we actually get to it. But in terms of why would Gigantic work as an esport, how does it fit? I did a video series on this on my YouTube channel almost a year and a half ago now, gosh. And I kind of seriously, it's really been that long. And I went over some of the main points, and some of that stuff still sticks, but in all honesty, I think that some of it doesn't. So I want to kind of go over what esports is to you as an individual. Tarelther, I'm going to start with you, then we'll go with the X-Man.
So what are esports? It's just simply, competitive computer gaming taken up to its highest level. That's all I see it as, is people who are dedicating their lives to a game as if they were dedicating their lives to a sport. And, hey, Gigantic's not there yet. I mean, you're not going to make a living playing Gigantic as of yet. Well, to be fair, Motiga's not even making a living making Gigantic yet. So that probably has to happen first before we can. Yeah, because we haven't enabled monetization yet. So, yeah, that's probably something that needs to happen first before Gigantic becomes an esport.
No, I can definitely agree with that, but I think it's also important to kind of bring up. Tim, you're good at distracting me. Thank you. I think it's important to bring up the PAX tournaments as well, because I mean they weren't actually technically monetized, but that was a huge draw in most of the PAX events. I mean, X, did you go to any of the PAX events?
I went to PAX East last year. Actually, PAX East last year was the first time I had ever been to an event. And I went with a whole bunch of my friends, and I remember before we got to PAX, we were all sitting senior year of high school, super bummed that Riot wasn't going to go. So we were like, all right, what are we going to do at PAX? There's literally going to be nothing to do. Maybe Blizzard's going to have some boring stuff, and then Overwatch got announced. And we stood in line for Overwatch and continued to stand in line for Overwatch. And then we said, you know what, let's go check out some of the other booths, and walked around and found the Gigantic booth, which was like on a corner to the Blizzard booth at the time. We stood in line. They only had 2 games running. We sat in line for 4 hours.
Wow.
Played 1 game as the 5 of us and got destroyed.
There you go. That's a great introduction. Welcome to Gigantic, Rook. That was my first game too. Don't worry about it.
I played Zenobia. In fact, I actually remember I played
girl.
Zenobia. Yeah, I played Zenobia because in League I played junglers and tankier people that could lay down a lot of CC, and whoever the Motigan was that was there, I didn't know anyone's names at the time, but whoever the Motigan that was there said, yeah, you should try Zenobia. She's got a lot of CC. She can help break up fights. She can help engage fights. And I couldn't aim in 3D. 3D proved to be more difficult than I was ready for.
Yeah.
So I'd be tossing down the pool at my feet or at the other end of the map, because it was only canyon. There was no Siren Strand, or Ghost Reef as you call it. There was no Siren Strand. So we played 1 game, and then but I really enjoyed it. It was super, super fun to just get into the game. And I signed up for the PAX that day. I got signed up for the alpha that day. Got accepted into the PAX got accepted from PAX that night. Installed it on a brand new computer that I've been saving up money to build a desktop, and I got it installed, got it up and everything, and played. And then it sort of fell off because it was every weekend, and there wasn't really that it wasn't interesting. There was nothing new. Everything sort of was super buggy, and then there was a huge update that dropped. Not Beta 2.0 for those of you who know Beta 2.0, but I had an opportunity introduced to me, and Gigantic picked up from there, and I haven't put it down since. But I remember that PAX tournament. I remember reading about the PAX Prime tournament and being really sad that I couldn't go and actually play in the tournament.
Yeah.
And this year I'm really bummed that Motiga isn't going to be there, but hopefully they'll be at PAX Prime, in which case I can I'm a broke college student. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to get the money to fly out there to PAX Prime and go play.
Yeah, I wasn't
being
able.
a broke college student.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there, buddy. It gets better. Not really.
Yeah. Hey, I don't mind. I'm in college for making video games. I'm helping Motiga develop Gigantic, so that's all I could ask for. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so like in terms of why it would be a good esport, X, like what is your take on the why?
Esports to me has been more than just people playing video games. It started out sort of back League Season 1 was a very niche community of people where video games were looked at as sort of this thing that you just have. You play video games for fun, and it's fun, you play with your friends, but this whole idea of playing competitively and having a rank system that people competed in just to get to the top instead of just for kicks, and then you have these tiny little tournaments and it's whatever, they don't really much, as opposed to 24/7, you play solo queue, you rank up, you get to the top, and then you form teams from there and you play against other teams for prizes. That was something that I'd never really been exposed to. It's something that sort of struck me as odd, that you could have this want to play video games for money. And even as I played League, sure, I had every League players' aspirations of, oh, I want to become pro League player, but down in my heart of hearts, I never really understood why people would be willing to just give up everything to play
Right.
a video game for 9, 10, 12 hours a day. And I think maybe it's because that game was not the game that I really felt like I could play competitively. But Gigantic, I assume that the people who play League feel the same thing of, there's a drive that comes with a game that clicks for you. And not everyone has the same game. The people who are competitive League players have the same feeling that I have with Gigantic, just with League. It's more than just, I want to play video games and make money doing it. It's not play video games and make money is an okay It's not make money and playing video games is an okay thing. It's play video games and do it and prove you are the best against everybody else and continue to push yourself to be better so that you can keep your spot. It's sort of like it's different from normal sports in the idea that there's a recurring tryout. So Gigantic is great because it's not like chess where the games are long and drawn out. It's not like Go.
Oh, we've seen some long ones.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like some other games where the games can last a minute or two, where they're really quick if you know the tricks. But it's got that median pace where the game never feels completely lost. In League, you could be 12 kills down, 10,000 gold down, and you're pretty much in the, game's over, I'll just go on to the next one. But for Gigantic, because of the clash mechanic, there's always that feeling that the team that's losing can come back and win. In fact, Tarelther, you and I have had a game like that.
Oh, yes!
Where we got down to a pixel of health in battle back where their Guardian was at full health and had a comeback there, but...
By the way, Baz, did you post that yet?
No, I lost the footage.
We've got the footage. We've got it.
I'm sorry.
Got it. Don't worry about it.
But it's that kind of thing, that there's always the feeling that you can come back and play, that the game is not continually over and there's no hope. And that's part of why it's a great esport, because the mentality drives the players to be better. In a game, in anything that has a system of positive reinforcement for the players, is something that can be beautiful competitively. So that's the biggest reason why Gigantic, for me, is a perfect game to become an esport.
Okay, awesome. I mean, I think I would agree with that pretty much 100%. Okay, Tarelther, he's X covered a lot of the basics, but my question to you is in terms of why it would fit well, in terms of visually and in terms of new player kind of, okay, I'm watching this game, holy hell, what's going on? Like, unlike League of Legends and like Dawngate and Dota and well, not StarCraft, but unlike like traditional MOBAs, how does Gigantic fit a easier viewing profile?
Well, there's a few things for that. One, you know what the objective of the game is at all times. It's a very easy objective. It interacts with you the entire time. It's the two Guardians. They're big, huge, gigantic health bars, and my monitor's shaking, which is causing the camera to shake around. Let it stop for a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I get a little bit excited when I talk about stuff. It happens.
Hashtag earthquake?
Hashtag earthquake.
You're welcome. Well,
Right,
I just
and
derailed.
also, to go back to Xeru, yeah, it's like, forget the conversation. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, visual appeal. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Gosh dang it, Baz. You do this to me all the time, even when we're casting, and then we have to come up with a save to just try to go with it. It's usually just talking like this.
Just play through it. Play through it. It's
yeah,
okay.
Play through it. That's what we got.
Okay, so
like what Xeru was talking about earlier.
Right. So like
it's a
visualization. Right. Okay, so like visualization. Like you were talking about how it's new player friendly in terms of there's not a lot on screen, but it's more just you can visualize what's happening, a lot like StarCraft or like any first person shooter.
Or like a fighting game. It's real easy. Big bar across the top of the screen, you empty your opponents, you win. Real easy to get.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest problem with esports is when a game comes out and they try to just like push the scene or make it so this game's going to be an esport, and they don't focus on like the fundamental basics of let's grow our community first and, you know, balance the game and that kind of stuff. Whereas games like League of Legends, Dota, StarCraft, they're established franchises. So when you have a game like Gigantic, it's working on the visual basics and just making sure that you can actually tell what's going on. Because
Right.
if you remember in the tournaments at the PAX events last year, there were people going crazy, and they probably had no idea what was going on because
But they had enough of an idea.
They had enough of an idea because it was so visually representative. And I think that's such a huge part to have a successful esport. And
Yeah, like
yeah, go ahead.
Like, for example, like, let's just, like, take the creatures, for example. You know, your basic creature, little baby, kind of weak, can do a whole lot. That's not really going to defend itself on its own. When you upgrade it, think huge creature, big advantage coming
Right.
in. That's, it's very simple visual designs like that make it really easy to understand what's going on in the game. Hey, we got a bigger creature. That's bigger is better, right?
Yeah, and then
Everybody
you
knows
have
that.
you have that point of we need to upgrade the creature so that it can defend itself. And as we're upgrading it, we are actively taking a risk in upgrading the creature. So we have to commit more resources to help protect it, or we're gonna go try to take down their creature and protect ours. So we've got to be really careful about how we split off our resources to make sure that it's all over the place. And having that sort of split gives the players a way to just start to pick up on their own. This is the correct thing to do. This is what we need to be looking to do. And that backs up the point that Tarelther was making about it's very self-explanatory, which is great for games that want to become esports. If the game is self-explanatory, it's easier for it to work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Kind of like while it's summoning, it's kind of transparent, so you know, hey, it's coming, it's not here yet, and then when it's done, big flash all up there, and it's all summoned. It's just intuitive in that you can watch it, you have kind of an idea what's
Right.
going on. In fact, you even look at the mini map of a creature summoning. All of a sudden, it just starts to, flash a little bit. It has a dull flash going over it. It's
Right,
like, okay,
right.
something's happening here. So that's not only good for the new players to the game, it helps spectators see exactly what's going on. By the way, have I ever mentioned I love the mini map in Gigantic? Just right
It
there,
is.
you just
I
see
mean,
it. Great.
you actually bring up a really good point, Tarelther, because the visuals of just the minimap are, I don't want to say overly simplified, but they're simple in a way where it's not a lot on the screen, you know what's going on, and you can easily watch the fight and still glance at the minimap at the same time, not only as a player, but as a spectator. And I think that's really important, because a lot of the times you get, like, just pings everywhere and a bunch of just stuff happening on the minimap, and you're just like, the hell is going on? And,
Right.
like, I mean, Gigantic still has pings, but they're not intrusive. Like, they're not, like, in your face. I almost feel that is something that's always bugged me about traditional MOBAs. X, do you feel that that's something that maybe I'm too picky about, or...
no, I don't think that you're too picky about it. It really comes down to preference. I personally think it's all laid out in a nice way that both a new player and an experienced player can pick up on and hold together. So,
Okay.
but maybe that's just me. But I really think it comes down to preference and who's thinking what.
Okay. Now, as a league, a former league player, in terms of team fights, like, this has always been my biggest issue, especially when I shoutcasted Guild Wars 2 and tried to drill this into the head of the developers, was there's too much on screen. You can't see diddly squat. Like, it's too hard to see. And a lot of the times, like, that's the way I feel with Dota, League of Legends, Dawngate. Like, a lot of the team fights in games, you're just like, what the hell just happened? Like, a bunch of flashy colors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you first played Gigantic, was it hard to distinguish what was going on in team fights?
Yes and no. Yes, it was difficult because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what abilities I was looking at. I had played one or two characters. Most back then I played Trip and Gnosis, I think, were the only two I ever picked. But by the time I actually started playing more stuff, and as the team fights got faster as I started playing with higher level players, and the team fights got faster and faster and faster, and more stuff was happening. I started to care less and less about the actual complexity of it because I had figured out the visual and audio cues to figure out, all right, I heard the focus sound. Now I just need to figure out what direction mentally that sound came from, figure out who's there, and then I know what focus was blown when it happened. I can see it real time and put all the data in my head, and I just become a countdown timer. Is all right, Margrave just blew his stun. We got like 15 seconds where Margrave is perfectly vulnerable to kill, or Taito just dashed in and blew swoop. He has his ult, she, we don't even know, has their swoop to get out, but not swoop, has their ultimate to get out. But if you have been paying attention and they've just used their ult, then you can designate resources to kill the Taito before swoop comes back up. So that those small things allow you to give an advantage, but I started playing at a point when everyone was new to the game. So there weren't.
Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah, so all of the team fights were really slow. It turned into you have the Margrave behind you that's whacking at people and goes, oh wait, I have a stun, jump stun, after everyone else has blown all their cooldowns.
The good old days.
Yeah, it's the days of not knowing exactly what was going to happen or when it was going to happen.
Right.
But now that I've picked it up, and sort of picked it up as the game got more popular, so I think I'm really the wrong person to ask on this, because I started at a point when the only thing that could possibly confuse me is what the abilities were that I was looking for. But now that I know what all the abilities are as I play, it's a math game now.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it's a nice thing. You look at, say, to go off Xeru's point, visual cues are very, very good in this game. Let's just take Zenobia as one. This is one that Baz had confused for a long time. That could partially be my fault because I told him the wrong thing. But anyway, that's Zenobia's Mark of Despair is a perfect example of this. It's got 3 different graphics. It's got its regular, it's just a slow, it's just a black area on the ground. It's got the one where the area on the ground where it's got like the tentacles coming up through the air. That's what that means is that there's no be expected to damage on it, and it's got a delay. And then the third one is where it's got the little poison spots in it. That means that's the anti-heal aura. Yep. So it's the same ability, but you know instantly which one it is just by looking at it.
Right, and you actually bring up a really good point, Tarelther, is because instead of looking at items constantly and new players going, okay, they got this item and this item, I don't know what that means, but the casters are screaming about it, so obviously it's important. Everything's all visual. You can just tell, oh, okay, well, this is this, and the caster said, okay, well, she spec'd into the anti-healing, and this is the color it is. So every time that person sees it, they're going to know, oh, Sven can't heal in that circle anymore because it's not allowed, just because of the visual representation, rather than, hey, we have 400 items, they all combine into about 60 different other ones, and by the way, we only use about half of them competitive, so don't even worry about them.
Yeah, my favorite examples of that are Vodenpool and Beckett grenades. For Vodenpool, it's really easy to tell whether or not he has super jump. Either there's an arrow coming out of the top of it, or there's no arrow. That one's real easy. If there's an arrow, you can jump really high off of it.
Yeah.
The other one is Beckett grenades, because Beckett grenades, when the first tier grenade is thrown at you, it's just going to explode. There's no ticking damage, there's no broken armor, there's none of that stuff, so it just explodes. So if it just explodes on you and deals a chunk of your health, then you know it was just a standard grenade. If it's got poison fields, then you know she's speccing poison and anti-heal. If she throws the grenade at you and it deals damage over time after it hits you, but there's no poison fields, you know that it's armor broken.
Yep.
Or what I like to and then for second tier upgrades, it's actually really easy to tell which of the 2 explosive ones she went. If she throws a grenade and it hits you and explodes, you know she's going grenades that when they hit an enemy will instantly explode.
Yep.
The other one is
crack, though.
The other thing is if she throws the grenade and your squishy instantly dies, you know she's gone super grenade. Because they tend to do that. I mean, 400 damage without a crit on, and then what is it,
Well,
like
grenades
150?
don't crit anyway, so.
But still, it's like 400 damage
Yeah.
on hit, plus 150 damage over time, and 5 seconds of broken armor. Because it's not cracked armor, it's broken armor. So you are just
Important difference.
if your squishies just get vaporized by a Beckett grenade, you know which one she went, and you know to think, all right, let's back out. It's Beckett's. Either that or get really close to her, because if you go super grenade, she's more likely to miss them when you're on top of her than not.
Yep. Yeah.
Because even if you throw a grenade at the ground, say you've got a Gnosis on you, if you throw a grenade at your feet, it will bounce out of range of the Gnosis before it explodes.
Yep.
Right.
So the way to play against a Beckett that way is literally just to sit on top of her
Mm-hmm.
and just make it so that she has to rely on pistols pretty much.
Right.
Or somebody to peel for her, which isn't likely,
or
because you want to be up in front.
Or she has to burn her jetpack, which is which makes her sitting duck ranged for people like Amani and Bowden.
Yeah.
So Beckett's one of those characters that if you know what you're looking at, she's super easy to play against. But if the Beckett player knows how to sort of disguise what they're doing and sort of take one upgrade path that doesn't really give away the true plan, and then the second upgrade path where suddenly it's too late. Beckett's already on top of you, ready to go. But those are the kind of things you got to look out for. So
yeah,
you know,
if you see grenades spammed after jetpacks, that's another thing. You know, she took that one too.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, that's cute. I'm just gonna walk away now. Yeah. You know. So I think we can all agree that Gigantic as an esport is superior visually, and I don't want to say simplistically, because there's a lot of like crazy theory crafting that can go in there, and like just knowing like actually you said the visual cues, and like, okay, I heard the focus sound, it was to my left. The only two heroes that are over to my left are either going to be Amani or Zenobia. All right, is my team moving? Yes. Okay, so Amani used her focus. Great. I can rule that out.
Also, if it's coming from the side and you know that only Amani and Zenobia are over there, you stop caring, because if it was a Zenobia focus, then
you're not moving anyway. So
you're not moving anyway. But if it's an Amani focus, you got to get out of the way or you're gonna die. So especially on Canyon, you hear the Amani focus, you find a cactus and you stand behind it for 15 seconds.
Double tap.
She gets one for free, but you gotta hide from the other two or you die.
Nope, she doesn't even get one for free. You hear the sound start, because the sound will start before she fires her first shot. It's as soon as she scopes in. You hear the sound go, and you jetpack or whatever you have to do to get out of her line of sight, so she now has to re-find you.
Or you put up a reflect or something so she shoots herself, and it's hilarious.
That's hysterical. I've seen Amani's one-shot themselves doing that.
I've done it. There's video proof. I've done it.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't think I've one-shot myself, but I've gotten close. I went from like full health to probably 100 HP.
You're like, oh, that's my bad.
Oh, back when it was only one shot. Yeah, I've hit myself for 1,800 damage with the Amani focus. It was quite hilarious.
So, you know, it's really interesting that we all kind of have the same opinions on why esports would work on Gigantic. And I think that says a lot about the game and the type of community I think Motika's kind of like made around the actual game itself. Because we all can agree that we're all just sick of a bunch of complicated bullshit when it comes to item management and, you know, who's in the jungle where and who gives a flying rat's butt about that kind of crap. Like, it's just I think we all wanted something different, and Gigantic was that game that was like, hey, you remember the old school days when it actually, you know, took skill to play as 5 people and know where everyone was and whatnot? Yeah, let's do that instead.
You're not no 5-mans. No 5-mans. You got to check your party privilege. 5-mans are gaming the system.
Hashtag party privilege. Hashtag party game.
Quake, anyone?
Dude, hey, Free for All Quake was the shiznit, dude. That was fun. That I lost a lot of friends over that. Let's move on to the next topic. How do we establish a scene in the actual Gigantic community? Now, we already have a scene established, but it's kind of died down. Allie Murdoch was in charge of the competitive scene. She is now left and moved on. And obviously,
she did get a job the other day.
She did, some virtual reality thing. I can't honestly remember. You know, obviously the layoffs happened, and they're dealing with that stuff, and we still haven't really heard anything about it yet, or really know what's going on. But in terms of it moving forward, and obviously, you know, the game is moving forward because we're constantly receiving, I don't want to say updates, but it's more of we're just kind of being able to talk to Mochiga on a more one-to-one basis again. Like, they're starting to kind of come out of the woodwork again and kind of talk to us on Twitter and Reddit and kind of mention things that would seem that maybe everything's going okay. But in terms of an esports scene and establishing it from something that went horribly wrong to pushing it forward, how do we do that? Because obviously the PR on the layoffs and that kind of stuff happened, and it's kind of bad rep.
Yeah.
But
currently,
how do we come back from that?
Currently, Gigantic has a weekly tournament called Guardian Arena. I forget what the first one was called, but the current one is called Rampage. It's Guardian Arena Rampage, and that is you sign up as one or two or however many people you want to sign up as, and the person in charge, Solthis, will help get people matched up on teams, or if you're a 5-man, she'll make sure you check in and everything. And then Thursday night and Saturday night have sort of become competitive time. That is the time for you group up with your friends, you go play competitive, and you figure out which team's better. You figure out what you got to work on. It's a day for everyone to sort of get a chance to scrim against each other.
Yeah.
Currently, there aren't really that many new teams, unfortunately. Really the only teams we've got are
Let's see, Art, Big.
we've got Art, Big, Renegades.
Renegades.
Warpath plays from time to time. Number 1 HKs plays pretty much as a ringer team. They've got like 2 or 3 people that are constant, and then they got the rest of people just hop in and out.
What's Smoogly's new team?
What's
Smoogly's new team?
No, actually. Outlandish, there was a team called Outlandish Gaming for a while. I don't know if they kept as part of a team, but Schmoogly has actually hopped over and become the new player on Art. So.
Oh, okay.
Schmoogly is now part of Art. That team sort of had its run. Schmoogly wanted something a little bit more competitive, but that's really all we have at the moment. It's a shame to see that not more people are taking an interest in Guardian Arena and wanting to do weekly competitive stuff, because it's just if it's just with your friends. If the teams are worried about going in and just losing interest in Gigantic because they're getting destroyed by these teams that have been playing forever, Renegades, then I'm sure we could find a way to. I'm sure I could talk to Solthis and we could find a way to set it up so that you have, back in the first season, we had it set up so that it was actually on a separate server, and they would have 2 teams queue up at a time. We had a bracket system.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd queue up and play one game against that team, and then the winner moved on, and the loser lost. But they'd match us up, and we could create multiple leagues out of that. We could sort of create the people who are new and want to play with their friends. And it's like, hey, we're a 5-man. We all just started last week. We're excited to go play. We want to play against some other new players. So you put them in a league with other new players. You don't put them out. It's like, hey, it's your first week of Gigantic. Let's have you guys go play Big.
Welcome to Gigantic.
Yeah, you get one game. If you lose against Big, you're done for the week. Come again and try again next week. It's like, no, we can set up different leagues.
Yeah.
We can open up the community. But it's a shame to see that not more people have. The more people haven't really taken in that they could sign up, and if they're new, they tell us that we're new, and we can set them up against another group of people that are new. We don't have to immediately. Sure, at the beginning that may mean that you and one other team of new players is going to play each other the entire time.
Right.
But that's a balancing thing. We don't want to make it boring by putting you. We don't want to make it boring and make the game bad for you and make you leave the game because you're up against people that you have no reason to be up against. So that it's not fair to you to put up against. So it's so we're trying. We just need more people to become a part of it, to take part, to respond to the Reddit post that Solthis makes every week, to show up and just say, hey, let's give it a go. Or here are 5 people I played a randoms game with, and they were really fun, and I added them on Xbox afterward, and we're now gonna go play a game. We're gonna go play Guardian Arena together for a week. It can be just a week. You can show up and play with your friends. I've done that before, but people just need to show that they have an interest, but a lot of it stems from the community being too small. And the community will grow over time, but I don't think it's there yet.
Well, there's a good reason for that. One of the big concerns, at least that I've had in games that I've played, particularly online games, is this game gonna be around to continue playing so that all the time that I spent in it is justified? You know, these layoffs, this whole situation with the investors, it's hurt the competitive community a lot because these guys don't want to put hours and hours of their lives every single week into a game that's just going to disappear.
Right.
So I think Motiga has to overcome that before more people are willing to get involved in the competitive scene. Now, the only thing that's going to fix that is time. Yeah, you take the hit.
Yeah, I think what Motiga's got to do next is just push out, get the stuff that they want to get done for open beta done. And then you release that, you do the major reset, which I know everybody is dreading, because there's going to be the big reset where all of our progress is reset. We all have to start over. All of our MMR goes back down to the beginning, and we've got to work our way back up from scratch again. But we have... Motiga needs to add a couple things. They need to add the ability to do custom games. They need to add a spectator mode. And they need to add some sort of... They need to finish and clean up the UI to make it actually look presentable and decent. And we know those are going to take time. We know those are not easy things to do. You can't just be like, you know what, let's put custom games in. We'll have it done in 24 hours. It takes time to develop. It takes time to experiment and make sure to weed out the connection issues. We all know how long it took months and months and months for connection issues to become as fixed as they are now. And they're still not perfect. You still get disconnected from time to time. Mostly because Xbox Live is trash, but you get they don't get picked. You don't drop as much as you used to. Yeah. So it's important that Motiga just needs to take the hit, ignore all the people who are hating on the game and doing whatever, and just focus on get the 3 big things out: fix the UI, get spectator mode in, get the custom games in, get open beta out, get some money flowing back to the company, get founders packs out, get
skins and stuff like that.
Open it up so that anyone can join, and then start getting press out for it. Start getting press out, because if you were to release it, for example, at the end of the summer, you'd get it right as the end of the summer split is happening for League. So everyone's sort of in that hiatus period between the end of the summer split and Worlds, because unlike between the spring split and the summer split where you've got MSI, they have nothing between the summer split and Worlds. Dota's the same way. CSGO is the same way. All of the World Championship stuff happens fall to winter, and there is nothing from the end of the summer until sort of mid-fall. So they need to... That would be a perfect time to go into open beta, because everyone else has sort of died. They fall into the background. It's like, hey, we're playing, but we're playing for fun. There's no real competitive stuff going on. It's sort of in that lull between seasons, and that's a perfect time to go to open beta, because suddenly you're sitting on top of the mountain. You've got the hype behind you. You can start presenting the game. You can market the game. You can get the game up in a way that makes everyone want to play it. Yeah. So that's a perfect time to go to an open beta, and then you get the open beta open, you get more people in, you get as many people flowing into the game as possible, and grow the community from the inside out. You have the people who've been playing for a long time teach the new players. You have the new players meet other new players. You start to help them form friendships through the game, because that's what's going to get people to stay. It's not that the game is going to be the perfect game and that they're going to be like, all right, this is the game that will beat all other games for the rest of eternity. This is the only game I'm ever going to play. It's, I played a game by Gigantic. I met some really cool people playing it, so I'm actually going to keep playing. That's what's going to keep the community growing. Yeah. So Motiga needs to open the game up, get people playing, get them making friendships, getting them meeting new people through things like Guardian Arena and weekly events where they meet and talk to other players, by helping develop the forums and stuff like that, so that everyone starts to tell their friends about it. You grow from the inside out.
Hey, Tarelther.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
what's up?
I think we found someone that talks just as much as I do.
Yeah, I know, and I'm actually scared. So it's like, all right, these boys are just gonna continue the conversation. I'll be back. No, I'm kidding.
So Tim, the next gigantic community council should just be me and X, and then like you can go like get a beer or something, and we'll just talk for like 3.5 hours. But I mean, honestly,
I don't think I can do that much. I just
Oh,
know
you
that this-
can. You can.
There
Don't
was
worry.
there was no real script for this one, so it's as it comes to mind, and I don't know when to stop talking.
Well, see.
Well, you and Baz have something in common then.
Yeah, exactly. It's really true. But see, I can tell that you've been wanting to talk about this for a long time because of just the way that you've kind of presented things. And, that's awesome. It's really good to have another group of guys to kind of talk with about this kind of stuff because I feel like me and Tarelther almost have been like, can we have spec mode? Like, for gosh sakes, give us something.
Please. Thank you.
But I get it. I know, I understand why spec mode isn't in the game. I understand why we don't have custom games because the basic of Gigantic is not finished yet. Like you said, the UI is decent, but it definitely needs a lot of work.
And it's more menu UI that needs work
Yeah.
than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
And can we have the clash indicator not look like a bunch of boxes and nobody has any idea what's going on? Get numbers
I
or
still
something.
don't understand that. Even reading Evan's post like 4 times, I'm like, what? That makes no sense. They're just boxes. Come on. But I digress. Tarelther, is there anything you want to add? I mean, honestly, X like really summed it up really well.
Yeah, I think he did sum it up quite well. I mean, the big thing is once we have those things, is then in order to really establish a scene, we've got to really just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, Motiga said they'll support the scene should it develop, but it's going to be on us, the community, to actually develop it. I mean, kind of like StarCraft. It got started like, what was it, like the Home Story Cup? That's still going now, isn't it?
Yeah, it technically started... Oh gosh, you are testing my memory on that. I don't honestly remember, but I do.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean these homegrown tournaments, and it's going to be the chance for casters and kind of like Baz and me. Like, hey, if you're putting on an event, you need casters. Hey, we're available. We can do Gigantic.
Yeah, I know. I know X wanted to do some shoutcasting too as well.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely.
So
I would love to see you two try to cast together. You don't fucking over each other the whole time. What if you ever shut up?
We're the exact reason why Rivington and Jat don't get to shoutcast together because they need to be kept on opposite ends of each other. Otherwise, they will never shut up. We all know how that works.
So gosh damn true. All right, so we have a couple extra minutes here. So I want to talk about the meta real quick. And
Sure.
Tarelther, I know that meta is one of those things that's really interesting, and just like it's really weird to see it evolve from 2 years ago to now. So, in your opinion, what's been the biggest change for you in terms of the meta, and like the biggest like shock for you?
The biggest thing is I was playing a game earlier today, and it was right before the show. And I was playing my Zenobia because, hey, that's what I play. You don't let me play anything else on Not Orange Juice. It's just Zenobia, and Zenobia because apparently you don't think I can aim worth a crap, and I get too ham on melee characters. I have no idea where you get that from, by the way.
On melee characters, you tend to cliff game yourself as opposed to anybody else.
To be fair, the one time you picked Amani, the servers crashed, and the other time you picked Tripped, we lost just horribly because you kept killing yourself. So.
Well, okay, fine.
Anyway,
but the big thing I know is that the level of coordination that's in the game right now is absolutely scary. I was facing up against a Margrave and a Nasus combination, and our team I was Zenobia, it was Tripp, HK, Vodin, and Imani. That means I was the tank. I was a squishy tank. And every time that Nasus and Margrave saw me, Margrave would just leap right on top of me, stun me, followed up by an immediate gore, and there goes half my health, and then the enemy Tripp comes out of nowhere and just shanks me from behind.
Yeah, that's...
And these are things that happen this is solo queue. These are things that are happening in solo queue, not even in the competitive environment. They were already happening in the competitive environment. Oh, dear God.
Right.
Tarelther, did you play your first 4 games in Canyon yet? I've been playing this game for a while, dude.
All right, so...
So no?
X.
That game was on Mistforge, by the way, so yes.
True.
Or Sanctum Falls. Okay, I will.
Must have been a glitch.
Yeah,
must have been a glitch.
Must have been a glitch. Yeah, obviously.
Okay, X, biggest meta shock for you so far.
Biggest meta shock.
Mm-hmm.
How recent are we talking? Because there were a couple of big ones in my time. I remember when Wu-Tang used to be able to go through walls. Well, that was more bug shock, but it meant that you had a Wu every game, as opposed to now it's very much a skill-based Wu. You have Voxel and Scent, who will whoop your ass every time playing Wu. They'll 100, and all the other people who can play Wu.
Yeah.
But that's not something you see all the time. But the real biggest meta shock to me is Charnock. I never really thought Charnock was fantastic, and then when I played him, when I used to play him a lot back in the early days, he didn't have all of the burst he does now. Like the meteor, the meteor didn't just kill people instantly. There wasn't any of this disregard armor stuff that was actually scary in a way that you had to be careful of. Now Charnock's become one of those power picks that if you have a Charnock and the player playing Charnock knows how to position around a fight and when to use their abilities, you can really turn the tides of a team fight with Charnock. Charnock, for me, is probably the biggest shock.
I'll tell you one thing that I don't see in the meta, and maybe this is just me not paying attention, is it comes from my background in strategy games. The concept of a timing push. You see it in League too sometimes. Hey, we're gonna get our carry this 1 or 2 big items, and then we're going because there's no way we're gonna be able to keep up at the end of the game because their other guy's so scary if he gets 6 items. That's just not gonna happen. You don't see that in Gigantic. You don't see
mainly because of the clash.
Mainly because of the clash. Okay, but even of course to go for wound. Okay, let's say you've got a team with a Nasus, for example. Nasus can build increased damage on every single one of his upgrades. All of them.
Yeah.
So you want to go late game on him. You want to try to drag the game out all the way to level 10, if you can, to maximize the value of the Nasus damage in a team fight. So that means you don't always go for wound every time it's available. Sometimes you just, try to kill creatures on the map, just try to get them more experience.
Yeah.
Or let's say you're playing, something a little quicker. Let's say you're playing a Beckett. It's like you get upgraded cannon, upgraded grenades, you're good to go.
Right.
You got all your damage, go. And you just try to take wounds as quickly as possible. I don't see any of that.
I think that's probably a welcome thing in all honesty, because timing pushes were so hard to explain to the newer crowd. I think that, again, it goes back to that visual representation of the game just allows someone like my mom to come in and go, okay, I kind of understand what's going on, which she knows. She doesn't know how to use a VCR very well, so for her to understand some of the game was like, holy crap. Then we're gonna do one more question. Then we're gonna take off. We had a question from the user, the Godlike Mike. He was asking, do you think the market's becoming too diluted for games like Gigantic in a competitive environment? And to answer that question, I'm gonna go with no, because we have Overwatch, we have Paladins, and then we have Battleborn, and then we have Gigantic. Those are 4 completely different games. Overwatch is basically Team Fortress, but just a little bit better graphics and a little bit,
a little bit better. Jeez.
Well, okay, yeah.
You're giving Blizzard no credit here?
No, I was gonna give them credit. I mean, it's their Blizzard flair thrown onto it. It's an incredible game. It's not my style of game because I don't like Team Fortress 2. Battleborn, I'm honestly not sure what they're going for. I think it's more of a PvE experience than anything else, because when I played it, that's kind of what I enjoyed. But Battleborn to me just is odd. I don't know. I can't really describe that. Paladins is just one of the most dry, dull games I've ever played in my life, and I can't even count that as a competitive game. There's not enough meat in that game to really kind of compare it to really anything else. And then we have Gigantic, which obviously we're all a little bit biased over. But like,
Just a little bit.
but if you compare all 4 of those games, I think all 4 of them have a different place in the competitive environment. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yes.
They're also different. Gigantic's also different from games like Smite and League and Dota. From League and Dota for the obvious reason of it's third person over the shoulder as opposed to third person bird's eye. Then that really changes the game. The fact that you have the ability to spin the camera around and mid game and just do whatever you want with it, and that where you're looking matters. And there's no lanes. There's no set lanes anyway. You sort of have one big open arena. The game is really only a MOBA by definition.
Yeah.
In the sense
But
that
so
it
is
a
Call of Duty, and so
multiplayer
is everything
Yeah.
else. I mean,
But that's
Yeah.
the only way in which it's like any of the other MOBAs is
Right.
that it's 5v5 in an enclosed area.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's a lot like Smite with the camera perspective. It's point control. It's capture. Well, not really capture. It's kind of capture the flag. I don't know how to explain it, but the whole idea of taking a wound from the Guardians is different than any other game where the point is
Right.
just get the health bar to 0. So the Nexus, it never heals up. You're never forced to attack it once and then back away and then attack it again and then back away. It's like, all right, just rush down the Nexus and you win. Smite, rush down, kill off all the minions, kill off the enemy's minions, kill off the enemy's heroes. You win.
Right.
Being forced to go in and out is something that's a bit different than anything I've seen. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with that. Tarelther?
What were we talking about again?
Yeah, I figured.
How it's
How it's different from
he already
the
answered.
others. Okay, come on.
He already answered.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, he was first.
I'm sorry. I just.
Yes, I was. I don't even know anymore.
Okay, whatever. It's fine. All right, so we have a special announcement that we're gonna get to. So X wanted to take this one, so announce away, bro.
Yeah, we actually have a special title pin from last year's PAX
Woo!
that we are going to be giving away. The way we're going to be giving it away is I'm going to be asking this question. The question for the week is, who is your favorite character to play, and when did you discover that they were your favorite? Tweet at GG Unleashed, at Xeru98, at Bazeleel, or at Tarelther with the hashtag 1pixel. We will go through them over the week and decide which one is our favorite, and the winner will get the title badge.
You know what? I think we should answer that question ourselves since we're at it. I brought it up, so I'll go first.
So can I just like win the pin and have Tim mail it to myself?
No.
Okay.
You can't win.
I can't win.
Hey, Baz, I wasn't even going to try that because I knew that wasn't going to work.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Tarelther.
All right. So obviously, I play Zenobia because that's all Baz lets me play because it's probably the only thing I'm decent at.
You're really good at Zenobia, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
don't sell
like
yourself
to think
short.
I'm decent at. Okay, it's just everything else I suck at. Don't worry about it. It's like, I'm playing this character. She has tentacles. I like tentacles. We're going. We're good.
I'm done. I quit.
Okay.
One episode.
And
quit after one episode.
one episode,
Thanks,
and we went into tentacle porn. Thank you, Tarelther. I appreciate that.
Hey, you added the B word there. I didn't say anything.
X, what?
No, you're second. You're
Okay,
second. You haven't answered a single question all day.
Well, I'm the host. That's the whole point. At first mine was Trip because I always play assassins and like the sniper kind of character. But in MOBAs and in team games, I've always played support. It was really difficult for me to find a support character that I liked, which was really weird. Vidasi just was not my play style. Sven took a lot of time to really get used to because I don't like the lob feature. But once I got involved in that, Sven has quickly become my favorite character of all time. And I think a lot of people will say that. But his like just crazy nature and just like spontaneous energy, that's me in a nutshell. So I'm basically Sven just without the giant nipples. So I mean, yeah, it's I enjoy his his playstyle. I enjoy his kit. He's able to do more. I feel like I'm able to play support and still damage the enemy team while, like feeling important, rather than just, oh, I'm going to play support. Okay, I'm going to hit my heal. All right, 10 seconds. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to come back. I mean, you can actually do stuff as support in this game. So, like, Sven was just a breath of fresh air when I finally figured out how to actually play him correctly. So, it's definitely Sven.
So, full burning all the way?
No, full healing all the way, bud.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Buffs.
All
Yeah.
right, Xeru, gonna answer?
As you can see on the screen, Beckett.
No, I would never would have guessed that. No.
I love Beckett. Beckett is my man. I started playing Beckett 6 months ago, 7 months ago, a while ago. But it's now gotten to the point that I wake up in the morning early when I go to play a game of Gigantic, and it's that time when I wake up, and because I'm on the East Coast, I'm one of the first Americans on in the morning. So I tend to get matched up against other players, which means I play a lot of Canyon. And the thing I always have to laugh to myself at is I see someone playing Beckett, and then I look at it and I say, wow, that was pretty good. They don't know it was pretty good, but it was pretty good. And Beckett is one of those characters that takes a lot of time to learn to get good at. To learn is fine. She's got one of the lowest skill floors in the game. It's slightly higher than Taito. But her skill ceiling, you can get really creative with her jetpack.
Yeah.
Having 2 or 3 jumps opens up a whole different direction of mobility. You have the ability to just skip ledges or get up on top of ledges and run directions that would cause people like Nasus to suddenly have to rethink how they were planning on attacking you.
Yeah.
On Sanctum, for example, or Valley, you can just hop up on the bridge, and you can run towards as if you're going under, and then just hop up on top. And then if he tries to be clever and go up, you can run off the other side. He'll follow you off the side, and then you still have enough time in the jetpack to bounce back up twice to get back on the bridge. So you've got a lot of time to do whatever you want with the Beckett jetpack. And once you learn to aim the rockets, simple. But learning to aim the rockets, learning the time to switch between rocket launcher and pistol is the real defining factor that separates a good Beckett from a world-class Beckett.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would definitely agree with that. I think each hero just has that.
Even I haven't mastered it yet. I find myself at times where I'm like, all right, I wish I had pistols right now, but I just switched to rocket launcher, and it was dumb. I shouldn't have switched over. But
I've done it before and just went,
takes time.
Shit.
Thankfully, it's only like a 2-second cooldown, but that's an entire mag's worth of ammo.
It is. It really is. I mean, and every hero is like that. Every hero has that just innate ability to be good and just be stupidly good. Like, I almost feel that it was designed that way on purpose to have a low learning curve but a high skill ceiling in terms of, like, just playability and bringing new players in, because I remember wow, brain. I remember in PAX South, there was a group of press that came into our press room, and they were all like, console nerdies, and they're like, we don't really touch PC gaming, and we're like, okay, well, what do you play? And they're like, oh, we play Call of Duty and Halo, and we're like, okay. So we gave them all the first person shooter heroes, HK, Amani, and Charnock Vodin, and
Roland.
And Roland.
Roland. Oh god.
Hashtag
Roland.
Roland was actually, he probably would have been my pick of favorite hero if he was still in the game. But they had a good time because they were able to quickly kind of familiarize themselves with the abilities and then just know how to shoot and aim. Instead of going, okay, I've never played a melee class in my life, what the hell do I do? It's like, oh, we just stand back and shoot people. So I just feel it's just everything kind of coming full circle here. Gigantic is one of those games competitively that's easy to pick up, hard to master, easy to watch, and even more fun to watch when you know what's going on. So I really truly think that it has a competitive quote-unquote edge over all the other esports games that are out right now because it has that low kind of floor of just everything, where you don't need to understand it to really appreciate what's going on, unlike League of Legends and Dota. And sometimes StarCraft, but StarCraft is pretty visual. Giant army fights giant army. Whoever's left wins. Of course, you get into the macro, micro clicking bullshit there, but it's just, I just feel that it's just so simple to understand, and once you do, you just have so much more enjoyment and understanding about it. So, that's gonna wrap up the show. Honestly, I was gonna have us make some witty comments before we close the show, but that doesn't seem appropriate and stupid now that I think about it. So, yeah.
You really want to give me an opportunity to bring up something again?
Nope, not really. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right. So, please follow us on Twitter. That's going to be at Tarelther, at Xeru 98, at Bazeleel, at GG_Unleashed.
Look over there.
Well, I forgot the GG Twitter because I'm a dumbass. So, also, if you want to communicate to us during the week, we have a not GameVox. We have a Discord server for the One Pixel community, so you guys can hop over there. We'll put the link in the chat here in just a couple minutes. Also, ggunleashed.com has basically everything you're going to need for Gigantic. It has an updated hero builder. Pretty much gets updated about 48 hours after the patch usually goes live, or sooner if... Yeah, usually less than, because we have crazy people that work for us. Shout out to Tim for allowing us to kind of host the show on GG Unleashed, and shout out to Motiga and all the wonderful developers that we've continued to interact with over the last almost two and a half years now. That's a long time.
Somewhere around there, yeah. No kidding.
But we're going to be doing this show every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for about an hour-ish, depending on how long we blabber for. But I appreciate, guys. We hit like 45 concurrent viewers. That's huge for a show.
Go us!
Woo! Yeah.
First episode, we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next episode, I want to see 80, and then double, and then double, and then double, and then eventually we'll get sponsored by Twizzlers, and we'll all have Twizzlers. Hashtag.
Well, we're going to be
hashtag Twizzlers, right?
The new league alone will have more viewers than the entire rest of our community.
Yes.
Although I think that's already true.
Ouch.
Ouch. All right. Well, yeah, that's going to be us for the show. We'll work on our ending later, but that's it. That's all. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, and or evening. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Peace.